Tzu Chi volunteers provided loving care for the senior citizens in New York during the pandemic. Master Cheng Yen thanked volunteers' dedication in caring for the disaster victims in Trans-Asia Airways plane crashes. Welcome to the Eye Headlines. I'm Ruby Ng. Thank you for joining us. New York Tzu Chi volunteers have been sending Lunar New Year gifts to the seniors for the past years. Today, we will look at how Tzu Chi provided spiritual wealth to the solitary seniors.
91-year-old Uncle Wu heads downstairs early in the morning, waiting for Tzu Chi volunteers to arrive. The New York winter is cold, but on this day, Tzu Chi volunteers brought some sunshine and warmth for the senior citizen. They have also brought some gifts, as well as getting him to exercise. Next, the volunteers visit another senior who is eager to show everyone her cat's yard. Influenced by her mother's love for animals since young, Mingjie has been giving her love to stray cats for the last 16 years. Years ago, she met Tzu Chi through a hot meal distribution, and the wise words of Dharma Master Cheng Yen has stayed with her since.
It's not to gain something in doing charity. Master Cheng Yen says, doing good deeds without asking for a return is purposeful. Isn't that moving?
She is very compassionate and expresses her love to the homeless. She will sometimes help feed the homeless on her own. I often share the Master's Dharma with her, and she very much agrees with that thinking and lives with the same rules in life, selfless giving without asking for anything.
In the United States, there is a high number of senior citizens living on their own. And despite the wonderful social benefits of the country, the senior citizens still lack a bit of mental health support, which is where Tzu Chi volunteers in Manhattan comes in. Over half the care recipients are Chinese American senior citizens, and besides gifts for the Lunar New Year, hot meals or health seminars, the volunteers are great companions.
The sisters are so nice to care for me. I don't have relatives or friends here, so they feel like my family and friends. In Mozambique, to help the flood-affected residents who are staying in emergency shelter, Tzu Chi volunteers gave them hot meals, as well as construction, seeds and food packages to help them rebuild their lives and home.
A truck filled with food has finally arrived in Tika, Mozambique, after a 2-day journey from Maputo. The residents at the shelter at Tika Middle School don't need to worry anymore.
Without an available food supply, the government will shut down the emergency shelter, but these residents don't have anywhere to go, since in most areas the floodwater has not receded. Tzu Chi is here to give them hot meals so they can stay here without worry and have plenty to eat.
Tzu Chi has always been the first on scene to assist us. Last year, we also faced a flood, and Tzu Chi came back then to help us too.
A tropical cyclone once again devastated central Mozambique. The path was similar to Cyclone Idai, but perhaps faster than Idai last time. Tzu Chi mobilized its relief efforts, giving the residents necessary supplies, not forgetting to include masks for prevention measures.
Vossa misericórdia que vocês fizeram, vir me ajudar, eu já não tinha prato, assim estou farta, nem panela já não tenho, assim penso, muito obrigado.
Cristina Manuel Masora, na dagara maningi, na sushi, wanipegeja maparato, na kulieri, na mashka, na makopo.
Local volunteers also come to help, such as this volunteer who endured an 18-hour journey to participate.
We're here to teach everyone how to properly wash hands and wear masks. It feels good to be able to contribute. We hope the disaster victims of Sofala feel the love coming from Maputo.
entre cada uma das pessoas para poder ter onde
We hope each family can have enough to eat. We will continue to be here cooking for them.
ajudar as pessoas, estar aqui com livre vontade e
Volunteers will provide hot meals for a week, and when they leave, they'll leave behind construction, food, and seed packages to help the survivors to rebuild and stand on their feet once more.
The following report is about the uncle of Lin Biqing, who is the recycling volunteer we introduced to you yesterday. In the past, Lin Biqing did not get along with her uncle, but after she joined Tzu Chi, she became sympathized with him, who have lost 2 sons. Now, this uncle does recycling joyfully and is willing to help those in need.
When I was 8 years old, I had to weave large straw bags every day. I weave 5 bags a day, each selling for 8 cents. I weaved straw bags for 11 years. In the past, in the village, everyone was weaving straw bags. My 4th uncle has a bad temper, and he often beat people up. However, when I think about how poor his family is, I want to forgive him. It is useless to keep a grudge. His 2 sons have passed away. It is useless to keep a grudge. Many people outside want to help him. My own uncle and aunt are suffering so much. Seeing how they suffer, we want to forgive them.
I bring this back to feed the duck. If I don't take it, it will be dumped. Many people are going hungry. This kitchen waste will be taken away by the garbage truck. I go out at 10 p.m. and pick the recyclables till 4 or 5 in the morning. As it is hot, people will tell me not to do this. However, I still continue the work.
The first time he carried the recyclables to the recycling station, those volunteers thought we were selling those because we're poor. They told us they do not take it. Then he explained that he was not selling them. After that, he kept bringing recyclables to the recycling station. Although we have a rough life, many people are leading harsher lives than us.
I watched the ITV and saw many seniors who collect recyclables and protect the environment. I want to leave the subsidies to those who are having a more difficult time. I can still get by. I'm very happy that volunteers come to my house. My feet and hands can still move.
In China, Chengdu volunteers travel 3 hours to the Gong County for senior high to send winter warmth. Volunteers prepare winter clothing, blankets and cash cards, enabling the students to feel the love and care by Tzu Chi.
Chengdu volunteers took the train early in the morning and then traveled by car through the windy mountainous roads. 3 hours later, they finally arrived at Gong County's first senior high school.
The 214 students come from various villages and townships in Gong County. They would need to travel very far to head back home. It's very hard for us to move all the rice and cooking oil for them. So after a house visitation last September, Tzu Chi brothers and sisters have discussed with the school and local government. We hope that when we're sending winter warmth this time, we can give some other things which are more practical for the students.
I plan to use the cash card to buy some stationeries or even buy some academic-related books.
This event today not only provided the students with winter warmth and supplies, but it also made the children feel that they are being loved and they must have the responsibility and courage to work hard in their studies.
I hope that when I grow up, I'll be like all of you, helping others in need, also to spread this love and care to more people.
No matter how hard the road ahead might be, but the love and care provided by Tzu Chi has been deeply felt by the students.
It has been 6 years since a Trans-Asia Airways plane crashed into the Keelung River. Master Cheng Yen met with a few volunteers in Xindian and thanked them for supporting the deceased families.
In a blink of an eye, it's been 6 years since the Trans-Asia Airway Flight 235 crashed in Taiwan.
It was about 10:30 when the plane crashed into the Keelung River. Right then, we moved quickly to begin relief efforts. We reached the scene in about half an hour and all were shocked at what we saw.
We immediately set up a command center at the office in Eastern District. I was at the crash site, and the district office didn't have any emergency supplies, so we provided everything.
Volunteers entered the crash site to offer relief support. Among the victims was a pair of sisters from China's Dalian. Their family members came from China to see them for the last time. The volunteers did their best to accompany the family.
The husband told me he wants to have one last talk with his wife, but their talks were often accompanied by a glass of wine. I asked myself, I am a Tzu Chi volunteer. Can I purchase alcohol? I knew that I wanted to fulfill his request, so I went and purchased alcohol despite wearing the uniform. When I saw the family gathered around the deceased and having their last chat, I knew I had done the right thing.
Tzu Chi volunteers help heal emotional wounds. A mother who lost her daughter decided to join the ranks of Tzu Chi volunteers in honor of her daughter. With compassion and love, Tzu Chi continues to care. In 2014, Trans-Asia Airways had another plane crash, this time in Penghu. In the face of death, Tzu Chi volunteers are not afraid.
The master has said, when your mind is in the right place, your energy is positive. Thus, when you have the mind to save people and everyone has the same mindset, our energy is righteous and powerful. In those few days, we work to serve others, and if it were me lying there, then I would be grateful to receive that help.
With a positive and righteous mindset in carrying out good deeds, love indeed will prosper in society.
Tzu Chi volunteers from the North Taiwan district visited care recipients to give them winter supplies and also celebrated Lunar New Year together in a creative way.
The Lunar New Year is approaching and a special period of gift giving is about to take place for care recipient households.
We took some supplies, cash vouchers, and some daily necessities that they needed. We directly asked our volunteers to bring them to these care recipients' homes.
In addition to the various foods that is served during the reunion banquet, volunteers from the Northern District also prepared rice cakes.
For this Lunar New Year's taste, I have to soak rice from the morning. I was soaking rice yesterday. Yes, I did it myself. You will feel healthier after eating it and will never forget it. It is so delicious.
The Lunar New Year festival is a time for many family reunions, and the simple vegetarian food brings many blessings.
In Taiwan, the Meisan Recycling Education Station is a sea-level long-term care center. The land was lent out for free for the first Tzu Chi volunteer Jiang Lin Jinluan, who invited many people to join recycling.
Treating other volunteers like family, Jiang Ling Junluan, together with her husband and a friend, lent volunteers the 992 square meter land for free and inviting more people to join the ranks of recycling volunteers.
We have such many places to do recycling, and finally we came here. Mother Jiang has said that we can do recycling on this piece of land.
Seniors who have an average age of 80 years old come to the recycling station every day. Even after selling their car, they walk here to volunteer.
We walk for more than an hour. If we pick up recyclables along the way, it will take us even longer. It is very nature. If we want something and need something to bag the recyclables we collect, we will find them.
Meanwhile, a recycling volunteer's husband has quit drinking alcohol. Not only has he saved money and gained good health, he's also very joyful.
My husband listened to the master's words and stopped drinking alcohol. I used the money saved from buying alcohol to buy food. After cooking the food, I share it with everyone here.
Meisan Recycling Station is like a Tzu Chi train, started by Jiang Ling Jinluan, who hopes to recruit more people to join this big Tzu Chi family.
In Singapore, due to the pandemic, Tzu Chi volunteers and members of the public could not join activities at the Jin Si Hall until the recent year-end blessing ceremonies. Following anti-epidemic measures, 20 ceremonies were hosted over 4 days, with 120 participants in each ceremony.
Tzu Chi volunteers have not gathered like this for a long time. Everyone finally meets up at the year-end blessing ceremony at the Singapore Jin Si Hall.
We hope that with the limited number of people, we can find the warmth of returning home. We invited everyone back to Jin Si Hall.
Yeah, it's feedback really, really well. When we enter inside, everyone is friendly.
Following pandemic prevention measures, every ceremony only takes in 120 participants. Holding 20 ceremonies in 4 days, the scale of ceremony is smaller than past years, but it is still warm.
I love having the Buddha blessing held here in Jin Si Tang. I find it spiritually, it is very satisfying because everyone pray for a same cause. It advocates actually love, kindness and care to everyone unconditionally, regardless of actually race and religion.
During the pandemic, Tzu Chi volunteers worked to benefit the public. Malaysia volunteer Wang Kim Fai, who has been stranded in Singapore due to the pandemic, misses the time when he could give of himself.
In the past, in Malaysia, we could do many things. What is special about this year is that people need to keep distances because of the pandemic. The Master has taught us to benefit the public and pray for harmony. So when we have the chance, we should seize the chance and be grateful.
As the participants light up the lamps, they also pray sincerely for peace and harmony for the coming year.
Organ donations have been performed in Taiwan for many years, but have you ever heard of a brain donation? In fact, there are more than 150 brain banks in the world. Taiwan only created one until last year. It is believed that a breakthrough will be made on brain research in the future.
Professor Ku's will clearly states that she wants to donate her brain.
They first took my mother from Pingtung to Taipei to perform the brain donation and brain extraction operation.
On the day of Professor Ku's death, her son, Ye Xiang, who was in the United States, the consent form of his family was recorded and transmitted through software on a mobile phone. Professor Ku passed away at the age of 73 years old. She was a professor at National Donghua University. After retiring, she transferred to the University of California. Unexpectedly, 7 years ago, she was diagnosed with multiple system atrophy, causing her brain neuropathy.
On average, about 3 to 5 years after patients will become very bedridden and have other problems.
I was helping her walk when she had to get a step up but couldn't do it. At that time, she told me she was very scared. We hugged each other and I told her that we'll try our best to fight this disease.
The son, Yexiang, is a staff member of a hospital in the United States. He happened to be engaged in brain research. Since the concept of donating brains was established locally long ago, therefore, now that his mother passed away, it was time for her to donate her brain. Despite the tears, he still agreed to make this happen.
I think brain donation is very important. I think it's a good thing that Taiwan has this brain bank.
Of course, patients and their families will accept making these brain donations more easily because they don't want to suffer from diseases like this anymore.
In 2019, Liu Yushou, a patient with cerebral atrophy, was critically ill and wanted to donate her brain, but was restricted by brain extraction regulations at the time. Therefore, officials of the Ministry of Health and Welfare held an interministerial meeting and helped realize her wish. On this day, the statutory restriction that the body cannot be dissected and studied within 6 hours was finally changed. Taiwan entered the brain bank era.
We're very pleased that we finally passed the relevant brain donation and brain extraction management method for the establishment of brain banks.
Fortunately, Liu Yushou's brain deterioration slowed down, but changes to regulations governing brain banks has fulfilled her wishes of later patients who had the wish to donate their brains.
Dear Dad, your wish to spread love to society has been fulfilled. You are truly great.
During his lifetime, Mr. Luo suffered from brain neuropathy. The second and third brain donors were patients with amyloid neurodegenerative diseases, and Professor Ku was the fourth brain donor.
We also took the brains from these 4 brain donors within a few hours to preserve good brain tissue quality.
For brain donors, within 6 hours after the heartbeat stops is the golden period for brain extraction research.
The brain is in a relatively fresh condition. In fact, the brain provides more research information.
Brain bank is the abbreviation of brain tissue bank. In fact, when brain donors donate their brain, the spinal cord and peripheral nerves will also be donated for research.
We treat his body with a very respectful heart. The extraction process happens behind the ear, so basically, the hair can block the family members from seeing stitches as it will maintain its original shape of the head.
At the memorial mass, relatives, friends, and students gathered together.
After death, there's just a physical body left. She doesn't care about this, as we all believe that the soul will return to God in time.
The deceased may reach another milestone by donating, which can save another person, making their life very touching and complete.
In the end, the success or failure of local brain banks will be determined by the willingness of the public to donate, thus creating an abundant source of data to help others in the future.
Tzu Chi volunteers went to Penghu to give out gifts to 112 care recipients before Lunar New Year. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.